Welcome to this week's OK at Work with myself, Sarah Sawyer, and my colleague, Russell Berger, both attorneys at Offit Kurman. And today we are talking about Maryland's new Wage Transparency Act, which we're filming this on September 30th, and it takes effect on October 1st. So it's coming, it's here. It's something that everyone's going to have to start complying with. And we've talked about it a little bit on here, the wage transparency laws and the fact that we're seeing a lot more of them and the need to comply with them. But today we're going to talk a little bit about, well, what's that mean from a market perspective and how is that going to impact businesses? So in addition to complying with the law, what are some other things that business owners should be thinking about, Russell?
Yeah, well, I know we talked about this before. We talked about how your employees are going to be able to see what the ranges are and what competitors are doing as well. But I think a really important thing for business owners to think about is you're going to be able to see what all your competition is doing as well. Anyone who's posting a job to hire workers in Maryland, it's going to have to comply with this law. So the other your competition, the other businesses in your industry are going to be doing the same thing, and you're going to be able to see kind of where their salary bands are, at least from a hiring, putting it out there in the marketplace standpoint. And again, we're giving the advice that you should do salary banding and you should be conscious of the fact that your internal employees are going to see this, and ideally, these ranges line up. Not everyone else is necessarily going to be doing that, but at the very least, you'll see if you're in competition for labor, you're going to see what your competition is, what their number one selling point is. And so I think it behooves all business owners to just take a look at that and see where the market is and see what you can get, what information you can gather. I mean, we do, there's an ability to do kind of, salary testing and there's consultants that, do comp reviews and that sort of thing. So that's always been out there, but now you're going to get discrete information from competitors about specific positions because they're going to have to post it. I mean, as are you, but I think, if everyone has to do it, you get advantage by being strategic and looking at what others are doing and letting that help you guide kind of your own, competition for labor.
And I think it's an important piece of, so we talked a little bit about the fact that employees will be obviously looking at these things as well and the impact on the employees and the employees that you have or the employees in the marketplace and how that's impacting them looking for jobs. But it's just another factor to be considering, because if employees are definitely going to be looking at this, it's going to be information and data points that they're looking at. So you don't want to go into going to hire someone and not do your own research as well and see, well, what are they seeing when they pull up Indeed or any of these sites and start looking for positions? What are they seeing? What how are others advertising their salaries? What are those salary bands? What does that look like? And it really is going to help you walk in much more informed and armed into those negotiations and conversations.
Right. Well, and ready for questions from the candidates. Say, hey, why are you $10,000 less? Or why should I work? It's all the same, but that their office is closer to my house. Why should I work for you instead of them? And there very well could be great answers to that question, but you want to be primed for it and you want to know it's coming and you want to be able to anticipate these things. So I think there's a lot of advantage there. And then the other thing will be interesting to see as time goes on, how this impacts the compensation that's available to employees. If everyone kind of sees what everyone else is doing, does that then kind of result in okay, well, this is just the range, and industry wide, we're all kind of, this is a $60,000 to $80,000 position, and that's just kind of what we all agree to, and to be determined, and we'll see how it goes. But I wonder if it will have the impact of raising the floor a little bit, but maybe also putting a ceiling on, as well, because if you know what the other person's doing, you don't have to outbid them by $10,000 or $20,000 because you know where the market is.
Yeah, if you're not going to be competing on price, then there'll be other things like, you mentioned, is this place closer to my house? What's the culture like? I think it provides additional opportunities for that as well when you're taking the mystery of the numbers out of it a little bit. And maybe there's an equalizing factor, like everyone, all the ranges are somewhat similar. It'll be even more important, I think, in interviews and in recruiting to be highlighting those differentiating factors of like why this company is a place that someone will want to go.
Right. Right. And a big part of that, I think, comes back around to the culture, and, being the right fit for a candidate. Because if all other things are equal, like people want to be happy about where they work. So, you can see how, again, we're kind of hypothesizing a couple steps ahead as to how the labor market might move. But, you could see that becoming a more important thing in this scenario.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks, Russell. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Sarah.